Good morning, everyone. It is 7:12 in the morning. I forgot to charge my car last night. That's okay. So today's the big day. We're going to meet with our investment professional to find out if we can fire, if we can move money around correctly, so that way we can not have a tax disadvantage and live off the 4% is the goal number, which I have calculated to be almost what I make now. And the best part is as the money grows at 10%, the 4% adjusts, and then I also adjusted the numbers for inflation. So in theory, I should every year I get a raise, and then obviously come 59.5, I can take from my Roth. Now that's any money that I put into my Roth myself, I should be able to pull out of my Roth. So any money that I should be able to pull that out without being taxed or disadvantaged from it. But the growth I can't take out. But I don't plan on doing any of that until I'm 59.5, which, as we learned yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday is only 19 more years from April. Awesome, old man. But I don't really want to talk about that today because I won't know until this afternoon what the deal is. And the way I have these videos paced to come out is this video it's Thursday. This video will come out on Friday. Friday I'll do the video about what happened on Thursday. So the video like with the results won't actually come out until Saturday. So I'm gonna try not to focus on any of that today. It's my goal to just kind of chill and talk about something else. But it is a sandwich for breakfast kind of day, like I did the other day, because I know come noon I won't want to eat anything, and I won't be hungry, and I will regret that because I'll make stupid decisions with the investor. So if I have a little bit in my stomach at 7, I won't make stupid decisions at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But no, actually what I wanted to talk about is something that's kind of controversial. I'm not, the point of this channel is not to talk politics, it's not to talk anything like that, but what I want to talk about is today is vaccines. And don't get me wrong, right now, I mean, I'm sure that I said the word and it's being flagged and somebody has to manually watch this video and decide that, you know, I can if I can still have a channel or not. I am 100% pro-vaccine. In fact, when I went to Peru, I had to have vaccines that most Americans don't have to have, and I'm cool with that. And it was the choice to have the vaccines to go to those countries, to go to that country. That I made that decision, and I made it when I was 16. So I mean, it was a big deal. I guess it wasn't as big a deal now as it is now. I have both rounds of my Moderna vaccine. I got sick as a dog on the second one, I'll be honest. I mean, I know my sister did too, and her husband did as well. My wife has both rounds of her Pfizer vaccine. And she didn't per se get sick, but she's had other trouble since the vaccine. The reason, I guess I should back up. The one reason my wife got the Pfizer and I got the Moderna is my wife got COVID. I sort of lied to you guys at the beginning. I'm not saying it was a total lie, but I told you my wife's a stay-at-home mom, has been since my middle son was born, so 10 years or so. This last year, my wife, for the last couple of years, my wife has been on-call school nurse. And with COVID last year and all the regulations that the school had, my wife worked 3 days a week at the school. So, I'm at the stop sign. See, stop sign. Gotta check the traffic. And anyways, my wife got COVID, and she didn't really get that sick from it. I mean, she basically sat on the couch and wore a mask, and once we knew she had it, basically she had a cold, and I was like, well, you should probably go get checked. just because I want to make sure that if you've got it, you don't bring it to the school. So she went to the school, got checked, or she went to the hospital, got checked, did the antigen test on her, and called me on the phone, says, yep, I have COVID. So we did the right thing, and she took the kids out of school. I came home from work. I stayed home for 14 days. Oof. Well, technically stayed home for 13 days. And my sister, you know, she was she's very concerned about COVID and all of that. And she's like, there's no way you didn't get it. You know, you've had it, blah, blah, blah. So one of the guys I work with has a son who can't get vaccines. And we flew on a plane together just before my wife got a positive COVID. My car thought I got too close to the white line, the road, kind of whatever. Anyways, my wife, so I went and I went and did the PCR like I was supposed to. And then but they were like, it's going to be 5 to 7 days before you know. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work for me. I couldn't get the antigen test. This was back when COVID was still fairly new. I couldn't get the antigen test at the hospital. So I found a clinic where I could go and get my antigen test done right away. So I drove to Des Moines, which is like 3 hours away. Stayed in my car, got my antigen test, drove home. They emailed me and said I didn't have COVID. 7 days later, I got my PCR results, didn't have COVID. And then a few weeks later, I found a place that could tell you if you've had COVID in the past. Because, you know, like, again, my sister was very like, you've had it, you've had to have it, it's so contagious. So I went and I got the blood draw. That was negative. So the reason my wife has Pfizer is because she had COVID, and she was a healthcare worker, and she got it before the vaccine or anything came out. And basically what happened is we decided that as long as she had antibodies in her system, she shouldn't get the vaccine, and she should let other people have it first. So she would regularly, once a month, get the blood test at our clinic in like a convenient health clinic, whatever they're called. And she went and she would get that test once a month, and until the line went away, which it never totally went away, but once the vaccines were kind of like en masse, she decided, okay, I'll get it now. So that's why we have different shots, my sister, her husband, and myself and my wife, because we got them in different places and at different times. So I'm not anti-vax. In fact, I support countries that require, if you want to be an American citizen and go to that country, you have to meet these particular regulations of vaccines, and you have to be able to prove it. I don't care about that. I think that's a good thing. That's a well-regulated country. We require people to have particular vaccines to come into our country. I mean, we do it to go to school and stuff. So, I'm reluctant to give any vaccine to my kids. My oldest is old enough to have the COVID vaccine, but I'm still reluctant, and maybe I won't be once it's reached, you know, the full. It's not an emergency use situation. It's got the whole thing. I figure like this. I mean, as we've learned, I'm 40, or gonna be 40, and I'm you know, so 20 years from now, I'll be 60, and 20 years from now, Ethan will be 33. And if there are negative, long-lasting side effects from it, at least I'll have lived a longer life. And I want to make sure. And I'm not trying to be dumb about it. I mean, I do believe that vaccines work, but with risk comes reward. And, you know, like I say, I don't know. And but anyways, I like the fact, you know, looking at Ecuador, they now, and this is July the 22nd, I think, maybe the 23rd, I don't know. They basically, if you have your vaccine card to prove that you've had it, you don't have to get the PCR test. I mean, I think that's a great thing. That was my car dinging to let me know that the light is green. I turned on some beta features to see what it was like, and I don't know, kind of cool. yeah, I'm gonna get my sandwich here and we'll pick this up here in a minute. I don't want to babble too much about this. I mean, it's one of these things that's important to me, but it's like not one of these things that's like, whoa, this is super important to me. But I needed a topic for this morning, and it's something that's been weighing on my mind, and weighing on my mind as it pertains to travel. So I'll be back in just a little bit. All right, I'm back. So I guess the one thing I want to talk about too, well, one thing is Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee's our local grocery store. Hy-Vee is, and they have a breakfast area, sit down restaurant kind of thing. I always consider it's probably a loss leader, even though it's kind of expensive. But I've mentioned before that I'm a Mason and a Shriner, and there's one guy, I'd call him the head guy, but he was probably just the longest running member of the ATV Corps. That's what our group is called, the ATV Corps. And he'd always be in there drinking coffee at 8 in the morning. He recently passed away, or probably a year ago he passed away, or a little over a year. Passed away. And it kind of sucks because we had a whole big thing planned for him, but because of COVID, there was no funeral or anything, but we were gonna drive some ATVs because he loved the ATVs. He loved our 6-wheel mud ox vehicles that we drove. And so I was, we were gonna have this whole thing for him, and it was sad that we couldn't. And his daughter buried him down in Mobile, which is quite a ways away from here. So unfortunately, we won't be able to do anything for him, but that's okay. I mean, Bill went out, and as much of a pain as he was, he was a great guy and a great human. So and he cared about the ATV Corps, and he cared about his family and all that. But where was I going? I was going somewhere with this, but basically, I wanted to talk about gain of function and why that's important. A lot of people ask me, my friends or people, when we talk about gain of function and why is that so important? Why is it important to figure out if humans modified a virus? Well, first, what is gain of function? From my understanding of gain of function, and I could be completely wrong, it's modifying a virus in a way that it could be modified in the real world, so we can kind of stay ahead of what the viruses are. It's kind of like what the flu, right? So the flu, they predict what the next flu is going to be, and that's the vaccine for that year. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, sometimes they're close. But it's important to know who funded gain of function, because it's been proven already that this virus, as it exists in nature, can't infect humans. But it had been modified in such a way, or such an unpredictable way, that it actually affected humans. So think biological warfare type stuff. So, if it got into the wrong hands and it was modified by the wrong people, maybe it wasn't modified by something funded by the NIH, maybe it wasn't modified out of the lab in Wuhan, we don't know. But we do know that the virus was modified in such a way that it became only able to infect animals and now can infect humans. And why is a bat important? I learned this, and I thought this was the most interesting thing, how they blamed the bat right away. Bats have an extremely high blood temperature, so that their body temperature is really high. And so getting a virus to live in a bat, I guess, is really hard. And so they use bats in gain of function testing to see if a virus is really strong. Because think about it, when you get a virus, part of what your body does is it gets hot, and then it defeats the virus. So they purposely, when they do this gain of function testing, use bats to simulate a body getting hot. So that's why bats are so interesting about this whole thing. Now, I am not a trained scientist. I'm an armchair scientist. A good friend of mine studied in college to be a virologist, and he told me most of this. So, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. It's probably wrong, but I'm not giving misinformation. I believe in the vaccine. I have the vaccine myself. I see nothing. People around me, most of them are vaccinated. Some of my friends aren't, and that's fine. That's their choice. I don't care either way. I mean, They give me shit because I got vaccinated, but I don't give them shit because they're not. It's not important. It's a personal choice, and when I say it's a personal choice, I mean it's a personal choice. Like, they have the full right to not have theirs, the same way that I have the full right to have mine, and you have the full right to have yours. You know, if you're able to. If you're not able to, I mean, I don't look down on you then either. I mean, it is literally all about personal choice. So I'm trying to keep my mind off my meeting at 2 o'clock today. I got my sandwich, and yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my sandwich this morning, edit this video together, get it uploaded, get the blog post done. If you guys didn't know, there is a blog. It's always linked in the description for every post. I'm trying to post every day. That's why I'm keeping the content one day ahead, so that way if I fall behind, I can still post. I try to schedule a post to come out at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. The post, the video, the whole works should release at 7. And so far, knock on wood, there's none in here. It's gone off without a hitch, and I've had time to make a video every morning, or at least some point during the day. And as you know, some of my videos are shorter than others. Some are longer than others. Some I'm more passionate about. Some, like today, not so passionate about. But this is the stuff that's on my mind, and that, it gets me flowing to start the day to think about stuff. And yeah, such is my morning. I'm going to do my Spanish, watch some YouTube or something this morning, and then head off to work. It's 7:30 already, so I won't have much time to do any of that, but I'm gonna do what I can with the time I've got, and you should do the same, and I hope you have a great day.